vaccinations are an opportunity because as we saw with COVID, right, like when you have outbreaks like this, it doesn't just stay in another part of the world now because of globalization. It comes here at home, and we need to be able to protect ourselves. So leaving the World Health Organization, I think, would be a grave mistake.
Hello, my name's Dan. I don't have a question. I'd like your feedback on an idea I've had for many years. And what it's related to is Senate reform. What I'm wanting to suggest is that our Senate be made up of elected people, maybe 2 representatives from each province and territory, and the Senate would be given the responsibility of being the custodian of Canada's strategic framework, which means a vision statement, a mission statement, and core values. We often hear about politicians talking about our core values, but nobody says what they are, right? So anyways, what the other part of my suggestion is that they be elected maybe every 5 years, the same time every 5 years, so they're not influenced by the election timing, which can happen anytime. So basically what I'm trying to get at is what a famous Yankee catcher said once, is if we don't know where we're going, we may end up somewhere else.
Thank you very much. All right, so we'll let all 3, and we're talking about Senate reform and the fact that they should be perhaps elected. And Evelyn, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Senate reform. Oh boy. Okay, where to start? I was not prepared for this one, so I'm going to have to think on my feet here. I go back and forth about how our Senate works, and I don't know the ins and outs of it by any means. I do think that there needs to be a lot of changes if we are going to be able to keep it, because I think that there is definitely less accountability when you're just electing folks, or people are being put there without there being any input from Canadians about it. So I think that the Senate is definitely a very old institution, and yeah, it would have to undergo massive changes for us to feel like it's still a relevant part of our system. So I think there's more discussion around that, and I'm certainly open to doing that, but I don't know specifics about what could make that a good system going forward.
So actually, I would broaden your question beyond Senate reform. I mean, we now have appointments to senators for short periods of time because of age. Some of them now that are being proposed and that are being sworn in are actually leaders of the community who are experts in parliamentary procedure, and they bring a lot of value to the discussion. We have elected officials that bring forward the bills. It goes to Senate for sober thought and insurance that it's done properly. But I'm more concerned about interference by elected officials on independent agencies, like a securities commission, like regulatory issues for banking sector, like the Bank of Canada itself. You do not want elected officials dealing with arm's length control measures to protect Canadians from partisan discussions or election cycle decisions. These things have to be beyond election cycles. We need very prominent, coherent, experienced individuals managing this process, and they keep each other in check. So when I was Minister of Finance, I put in a new regulatory system for Ontario to eliminate interference by elected officials. The Senate should also be more independent in ensuring that we don't have partisan activity at the Senate as well, to ensure that we have those control measures in place. That's my belief. But Canada is small, so we have to be careful.
Dan, thanks for bringing that idea forward. I think ideas are always good to bring forward and talk in a public space and discuss together. I do agree that our Senate needs to become very nonpartisan. I think there's a lot of partisanship happening in the Senate, and that does slow the passing of bills through the Senate down a lot, and it also ends up with a lot of bills that the House of Commons has worked on for a long time that are ready to pass, that the Senate then destroys and squishes, and that's years of work, right? So I would love to see a little more non-biased. I don't know about elected, and I kind of agree with Charles on some of those points. Like, there's certain things that we need people that have expertise. I would like to see some younger people in the Senate, because I think youth can bring some fresh voices, but I understand that we need some expertise, but young people also come with expertise. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a reminder, everybody, if you could please get your question asked in a 15-second time period.
My name is Diana Tendorf, and I reside in Mississauga Lakeshore. So I'd like to bring up another, what I feel is a major issue in this country that used to be called Canada Good, and that is the rise of violent crime. Yeah. So it is truly a problem throughout the entire nation, the various types of crimes that take place. We have out-of-control protests, etc. But locally, we have an epidemic of car thefts. In Lauren Park area, Mississauga area, Port Credit area, I have a friend who's had 2 cars, high-end cars, stolen from her driveway. We had an incident right across the street at the Port Credit Library where a man's Mercedes-Benz was robbed from him, armed persons who were assaulting him. So, yes, I know it's a local issue, probably a provincial issue, but it is absolutely a federal issue, because how much of this has to do with the federal courts and the whole concept of, I think it's called catch and release. So what is your suggestions? What can we do?
So this question is on catch and release.
Is this for everybody or for one person? Who you asking?
No, whomever would like
Okay.
to answer that.
You go first?
Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, so we are aware, and I spoke about it in my opening, that crime is on the increase, right? We've got a lot of stuff going on. Yes, there is a catch and release problem, but that is not the base problem of our crime. The base problem of our crime is we have huge inequities in our country between the impoverished and the wealthy, and because of that, we have a lot of youth that get recruited at a very young age. They get caught and released because, you know what, they're underage. They can't hold them very long because our criminal court system is designed to only, like, when you're a youth, you don't get held as long, right? And the crime syndicates, whether it's anyways, there's lots of, I don't know much, I'm not into the crime syndicate world, so I can't tell you all the terminology. However, they recruit youth because we have youth that have no hope for a future, so guess what they do? They turn to the fast cash. They got money, they can get nice cars too. In terms of the car issue, there's 2 points, because I know this is a big issue in our community. There's 2 points to this. First of all, we need to put pressure on the actual auto industry, that they have vehicles that are very easily stolen by copying a key fob. There is technology out there that will stop that. My old car with a key, you can't steal it very easily without, they don't want it anyways, it's too old. But we need to put pressure on the car industry. There's also things that we can do, because most of those cars are shipped to the same 2 or 3 countries on different places of the world, and we can have conversations with those countries and talk about, like, trade embargoes and all these things. Like, we need to get international countries where those cars are going to help slow this crime. Thank you.
So if I may, it's a critical issue in our community and throughout Canada, especially the GTA. And one of the things that bail reform, I hear this all the time. We've done bail reform multiple times. We've increased bail reform to eliminate those that are carrying guns, doing home invasions, doing violent crimes, to prohibit them from being released. We also have increased the protection measures for cross-border gun control, because a lot of illegal activity is happening through that system. So we're hiring more RCMP, more border security. We're also offering the provinces some more money, because what is happening is the criminals are caught. They have laws. We want them administered and enforced. Just got to enforce the law. And the Justice of the Peace and the Ontario courts don't have enough support. They don't have enough judges. And then the jails don't have enough space. So provincially, they have to invest more. I'm not trying to